months since my arrival to the United States, we finally got an opportunity to get out of Houston. Ivan's friend Michael and his wife Fernanda live in San Antonio, so what better reason to explore a beautiful part of Texas than visiting them for a weekend? In true Texan fashion, after a catch-up session at our friend's house, our first stop had to be at a Mexican restaurant for lunch.
Para. Yo, tú, vosotros, ¿se entiende? Nosotros, gramática, distinto. Bueno, el argentino agarró vosotros y lo rompió.
After lunch, it was time for some sightseeing. The first thing that surprised me was that even though it's smaller than Houston, San Antonio is just as full as highways. But unlike Houston, San Antonio does seem to have what us Europeans like to call a historical center. And after months spent seeing mostly modern-looking buildings in my adoptive city, downtown San Antonio was quite a refreshing view. The seventh most populous city in the United States, San Antonio is also the oldest city in Texas. It was chartered 303 years ago, with a deep history and a rapid growth over the past few decades. Small side note, I will never cease to be amazed by the size of cars in Texas. I'm sure not everyone here has large stuff to carry around all the time, and it's more like a cultural thing, but it is for sure a cultural thing I will never get used to. Downtown San Antonio, and especially the area surrounding the Alamo, has a very Hispanic-looking vibe, and it's what I love the most about this city. Moreover, from an ethnic perspective, 64.5% of San Antonio's population is Hispanic or Latin American of some sort. Surrounding the Alamo, the most popular historical site in San Antonio, you have a wide array of hotels, restaurants, the USPS headquarters, and the San Antonio River Walk, which, of course, we didn't get to see because of the rain.
Well, dude,
oh
it looks
God.
like I didn't use one, but I got the umbrellas.
Thanks, man.
Holy crap.
And since rain seemed to follow us everywhere we went, we had to seek refuge in a candy shop. I hadn't been to a Kilwins before, although it is a national chain, and we even have one in Houston, as I later found out. The chain dates back to 1947 and has earned a reputation for providing high-quality chocolates, fudge, ice cream, and confections. I also hadn't tried fudge before, so I took the opportunity and got a slice. It was delicious, of course, but it took me 2 days to actually finish it. With the rain finally over, we headed to the Alamo, our main destination for the day. The Alamo is a historic Spanish mission and fortress compound founded in the 18th century by Roman Catholic missionaries. The historic district was one of the early Spanish missions in Texas, built for the education of local American Indians after their conversion to Christianity. The mission was secularized in 1793 and then abandoned.
I think the Alamo is like 2 weeks of Texas history.
Yeah?
Yeah, just this thing.
At the beginning of the 19th century, the Alamo became a fortress, and it was the site of the Battle of the Alamo in 1836 during the Texas Revolution. After that, it was abandoned again. In 1849, years after Texas was annexed to the United States, the U.S. Army began renting the facility for use as a quartermaster's depot, before abandoning it again in 1876. Periodic attempts at preserving the Alamo began in 1895, and in 2015 it became a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The day ended at Michael's and Fernanda's house with hours upon hours of conversation and takeout pizza. Now a little bit about them and why this particular hangout was important. Ivan met Michael in New York while they were both doing their masters. Michael and Fernanda's story is somewhat similar to ours because she's an immigrant like I am. She's from Peru. Plus, at some point in their relationship, Michael too, like Ivan, went to live in her home country. And then them, like us, ended up moving back to the US. It was so much fun to connect with them in sharing the challenges of being in an international couple, dealing with visas and paperwork, moving to a new country, and ultimately starting our lives all over again. We left San Antonio around noon on Sunday after a long and lazy brunch at the house. I did end up seeing like 1% of all that the city has to offer, but we made do with what we had. It rained almost continuously, and truth be told, that particular weekend was meant for relaxation, human connection, stories, and just taking a break from our daily work routine here in Houston. I definitely want to go back to San Antonio soon, and we are lucky enough for it to be just a 3-hour drive away. And despite seeing very little of it, I was very pleasantly surprised by its relaxed atmosphere and eclectic architecture ranging from colonial to Victorian. Definitely worth exploring. Our way back was not exempt from rain, and I never cease to be amazed at the extreme weather in Texas. I definitely know to always expect rain in Houston, but going to and from San Antonio, I was expecting to go into more of a desert type of area. Well, nope. The drive there and back was one of the scariest of my life because most of the time you could barely see the car in front of you.
Let's just make it live to the thing. I feel like you couldn't rain anything any more than this, you know? Yeah. Like this is like there just isn't enough space for there to be more rain. Yeah.
Well, miraculously enough, we did not end in a car crash on our way back, so here we are 3 hours later on Sunday afternoon, making it back to Houston. The first time that for me, back to Houston meant back home.